Today is the 17th of July. Hello to you all from the Karatedo World News channel. And you're watching the 9th live broadcast in the series. I will be sharing here the actions of Karatedo on the Karatedo World News channel. Let's look at the headlines to view the actions and recent events in Karatedo. Turkish Karate is live until Sunday with this year's Junior Cadet and National Championship in Şanlıurfa, the city of Turkey. At times it is live with some footage, some videos on Türk Karate TV and Turkish Karate Federation Facebook and Instagram accounts. Number 2, we have Tokyo 2020 World Karate Olympics is about to be on stage after 19 days. WKF is introducing each athlete via selfie videos. Number 3, we have one competition rule, as we said 3 weeks earlier, for every week. This week we have Sensei, which has been used for nearly 3 years or 4 years in kumite bouts, and we will take a careful and elaborate look at that rule. What does it mean and how to apply it? So here are the details. Number 1, 1,881 karate competitors from 53 cities of Turkey, representing 376 clubs or dojos, let's say, are participating this year's Turkish Karate National Federation Championship for juniors, cadets, and under 21 categories. Today and tomorrow we are having the elections for the national team competitors who will stand for Turkish Karate at the next European Championship, which will be held in Tampere, Finland on the 20 to 22nd of August. The event is not live, unfortunately, but you can follow such social media accounts like Türk Karate TV and Turkish Karate National Federation website and related social media accounts to watch some footage and bits from that live action. And that event has been too challenging for the last 2 days for all the participants, from athletes to coaches as well as referees, judges, because the weather temperature in Şanlıurfa reached up to 45 degrees Celsius, and the participants are quite a lot. I mean, nearly 2,000 people using one venue in 4 days. That's both terrifying and risky for the spread of the virus while vaccination process is going on in the country. The organization must be held meticulously, especially these days, I mean with great care under the COVID-19 precautions. Well, in the national tournament, we have witnessed a very rare and interesting kumite bout between under 221 females, 61 kilogram athletes. So 2 female athletes under minus 61 kilogram showed us a very interesting side of Karatedo as an athletic performance. So it ended with a score of 31 to 23. Yes, you heard it correctly. 31 to 23. I mean, totally 54 points in one kumite match. It's unbelievable, Unbelievable, it is, isn't it? Well, the action will end tomorrow, and those qualified will fight for the European title in Finland, Tampere, next month. The second headline for this week is the Karate's Olympians' self-videos and interviews going on with them, of course, showing their enthusiasm, the athletic enthusiasm and determination by these competitors towards the greatest sports event, which is the Olympics. The last two athletes who were introduced on the official website of WKF were Stephen Da Costa of France and Thomas Scott from the US Olympic team, who were shortlisted. The latter one was shortlisted last week, as the Iranian athlete Bahman Askari Gonche was banned because of a doping crisis. The French and American athletes expressed their excitement and ambition to make the best of their performance on the tatami. Their common belief is the special values of Karatedo and all martial arts that will contribute to the next generation of the sports. They're hopeful about that. One thing to notice from the French karateka's interview is that he says, Karate is a university of life. So I like that, so I wanted to quote it. Remember that Karate will make its Olympic debut, first appearance, at the Olympic Games, Tokyo 2020. The first appearance of Karate at the Olympic Games will take place in the birth nation of the sport and in the same venue of the first Karate World Championship, which is Nippon Budokan Sports Hall. Moreover, Karate experienced its first Olympic event at the 2018 Youth Olympic Games in Buenos Aires. Additionally, Karate has also been included in the sports program of a Youth Olympic Games in Dakar in the year 2026. Well, the last part of this video, as I mentioned earlier, will be, it will cover one rule, as we have started 3 weeks ago. And that rule from this week's will be on kumite bouts, and this rule is called Sensei. Although some referees call it Sensei or Sensei, the correct pronunciation is Sensei. So what does it mean then? It literally means first unopposed score advantage. First unopposed score advantage, literally. So, which also means one contestant has achieved the first instance of scoring on the opponent without having the opponent also score before the signal. It's not a simultaneous points acquired by both sides. So, in a match that ended with a draw, let's say 1-1 or 8-8, we can say, or 10-10, if the scores are not obtained at the same time, simultaneously, for both sides, for Aka and Ao, there must be one contestant who got the first point. The first point scored advantage, which is not opposed. It's an advantage for the athlete to get the first score technique on target. Sensei, this rule shows the first score advantage, and if the match results in a draw, if it ends with a draw, the winner must be the one who scored the first. Sometimes it means that the advantageous athlete is the most active side in the game. It means the most advantageous athlete might be the one who got the first score, which indirectly means that he might have been the most active side of the game. But if there is a passivity or holding, clinging, pushing, or wrestling to play for the time, or jogai, I mean stepping out of the tatami, which means escaping from the fight in the last 15 seconds, okay, there's a penalty. There should be a penalty or punishment, which we say category 2, against this disadvantageous side. I mean the one who has already got the senshu. The advantage, I mean senshu, is cancelled then. I mean the referee shows that signal and makes it a torimasen. I mean nullification. We call them cancellation. Okay. After that, when the match finishes with a draw, I mean equal for both sides in terms of points, the referee calls for a hantai, which is a decision for all the judges to show who is the most active side and eager to fight during the whole match, during the whole, bout, timing of the bout, regardless of who got the first point, irrespective of who got the first advantageous point. So, individual bouts cannot be normally declared as a tie. So there should be one side who must win the match. Only in team competition or in round-robin competition, as we have seen in Paris qualifications for the Olympics, when a match ends with an equal score or no score and neither competitor has obtained senshu, the referee will announce a tie, which we call them hikiwake. Also, in cases where senshu has been awarded, but a successful video protest determines that also the other opponent scored that, and that a score in fact is not unopposed, nobody, show opposition, the same procedure is used for the cancellation of senshu. 3 years ago, this rule was introduced, and the following year, during the meetings in a Paris Open tournament on April the 17th, as I remember, a decision to change the signal for senshu was taken by the WKF Competition Rules Commission. According to that decision, the new signal has been implemented since then in all competitions. Like before, the referee firstly gives the points, yuko, wazari, or ippon, and then announce the senshu without turning towards kansa. It was the older version was that. The referee was turning towards kansa, signaling that, but it changed. But this time, the new version, after showing the signal, it continues to watch the contestant, facing the contestant who got the first score. Also, after senshu is announced, the referee will restart the match accordingly. So, the hand signal is intended to show preference with an open hand, the backside of which is facing the first scoring side. Well, this rule seems to be something good to determine, subjectively speaking. To determine who is the most willing to get the first points, and it makes kumite bouts more exciting and easier to watch. Rather than two sides stepping all the time and playing for the time, there should be a scoring advantage and both sides at least needs to be more active than before. But one drawback, if you ask me, about Sensui's application would be that it's not that effective to activate kumite athletes, because most professionals have started to wait for each other till the end of the match to score first. I mean, this time, they are technically overruling that rule, I should say. It's not that efficient, as previously planned, maybe, before that rule is enacted. Another negative aspect is, of course, for the spectators, for the audience, regarding when to award and give and cancel that Sensei. It's very complicated to understand if you are outside kumite or Karatedo rules. Just watching to understand why this or that athlete has won at the end of the match. You can think about that, and if you have any comment about Sensei or any headline for this week, feel free to criticize or write your ideas below. Well, that's all for the week. I hope you enjoyed my conversation here on Karatedo with you here. I will be pleased to read your comments. Let's meet in another KWN videos, interviews with athletes, coaches, and arbitration in the weeks to come. Stay tuned with Karatedo World News. Us.